Hey, friends, welcome to the Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Sally Allen. And today we are going to talk about one of the most scariest moments in leadership when you realize your boss is wrong and you have to decide whether to say something or not. You know the moment you're sitting in a meeting watching a wrong decision unfold in slow motion, and deep down, you know it's the wrong move. Every instinct is screaming, this could backfire. But your brain is having a full blown panic attack about it because on one side, there's your integrity, on the other side, there is your paycheck, your reputation, and your ability to walk into that office next week without being escorted out by HR. So it's like being asked to tell the emperor that he's naked when the emperor has the pen that's writing and signing your paycheck and your performance review. Listen, this moment isn't rare. Every high performer has run into issues like this eventually. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And most people think their options are staying silent and protecting themselves or speaking up and risking everything. There is a third option, and that comes down to how you think. It comes down to your mindset because every challenge that comes up isn't about having the right opinion. It's about navigating the power dynamic in a mature way and with strategy. It's not about trying to win, it's about trying to serve something bigger than your comfort and yourself. Most people make this mistake. They make it about them. What if I get fired? What if I look bad? What if they're offended? And the moment you get stuck in that loop, you become paralyzed. But fear always shuts down your voice. When you shift from self-protection to mission protection, everything changes. It's no longer about your ego. It's not about being right. It's about the mission. It's about the team. It's about the work you're all trying to put in together. You speak up not because you're trying to prove something. You speak up because you give a damn about the outcome and the impact. You care about the customer. You care about the reputation. You care about the brand. And when that becomes your focus, fear gets quieter. Doesn't go away completely, but it's manageable. I had a client in this exact same situation. She saw her company heading into a decision that would hurt the clients. She stayed quiet until she couldn't. When she finally spoke up, she did it with clarity and care. And you know what? She didn't get fired. She got respected. But she wasn't coming from a place of ego. We had to work through that. She was coming from a place of service. It was how she positioned herself. The second mistake I see, people gear up as if they're going into battle. They prep for argument, they rehearse rebuttals. They come in ready for a throwdown. And that creates the exact kind of tension that shuts down senior leaders. Here's the mindset shift. You're not coming in as an opponent. You're coming in as a partner. You're not challenging your leader's authority. You're contributing to the decision making. You're not trying to make them look bad. You're trying to help them look ahead. And it's not about softening up the truth. It's about how you deliver it. So you don't say this is a terrible idea. Instead, you could say something. Have we thought about what happened if this part doesn't go the way we expect? You don't walk in there to win. You walk in there to support. And that changes how you deliver the feedback. When you show up like a partner, you build trust. And when you build trust, your voice lands differently. Another shift that changes the game, stop trying to prove that you're right. That's ego again. That's scoreboard thinking. And that's not helpful. You're not there to be the smartest person in the room. You're there to make the room smarter. This means that you share insight without needing the credit. Ask questions that help uncover blind spots. Offer value, not just opinions. One of my clients has struggled with this for years. Brilliant ideas, great instincts. But he was coming in too hot. He was trying to prove that he had a better plan. And he was mad if they did not accept his plan. right? He shifted to curiosity. Everything changed. He started asking, can I have another angle here? Have we considered this? What happens if we try this instead? And guess what? He started getting invited to more decision making meetings. And it wasn't because he was louder, but it was because he became more useful. Here's the final shift, and it's the hardest one. You will not feel comfortable doing the right thing sometimes. Let me say that again. You will not feel comfortable doing the right thing sometimes. It's the most courageous thing you can do is speak up. The most courageous thing you can do is speak up when you are uncomfortable and when the truth can be uncomfortable. And this is when it will be easier to stay silent and not rock the boat. But instead, ask the question, what is the worst that can happen if I speak up? But what is the worst that can happen if I don't? Sometimes silence is a bigger risk because you protect comfort, that's short term, but sacrifice your credibility, your values, your integrity in the long run. This doesn't mean you blurt out everything without strategy. You choose your moments wisely. You speak with tact. You build trust ahead of time. So it matters when you speak. That is real leadership. So listen, let's land this plane. Challenging up isn't about being fearless. It's about knowing which fears are worth facing. It's not about making your boss comfortable. It's about helping your company win. And if you do it right, if you challenge up with humility, clarity, and purpose, you won't be seen as a threat. You'll be seen as someone who's bringing value to the table. And people who add value, they don't get sidelined, they get promoted and they get asked more questions. I remember when I challenged my boss once. And it wasn't something big, it was a small something. We were just working 6 months together. And I challenged him because I didn't feel I was getting the time that I needed with him. And I spoke up. And I was really surprised when he said, what behavior do you want me to change? I really sat back, kind of rocked on my heels. Like, did this C level executive just ask me, what behavior do you want me to change, Sally? So don't be afraid to challenge up, but do it in a tactful way, not with ego, but how can it be a win for you? How can it be a win for the team? And how can it be a win for the company? Now, listen, if this episode sparked anything in you, I encourage you to share it and come hang out with me on YouTube and Instagram. See links below. And as I always leave you with this, I'll leave you again with it to say, if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Have an amazing day until I see you in the next episode.